Welcome to New Cyber Frontier, bringing you the latest news on cybersecurity and the local Colorado economy, focused on cybersecurity industry growth and initiatives that support cybersecurity economics. We hope this special series on blockchain builds your excitement for a possible future which empowers individual privacy. Please follow and participate as New Cyber Frontier is supporting a grassroots community effort to empower the individual in the digital age. Check out privacyforthepeople.org to see the upcoming crowdfunding campaign. Now sit back and enjoy as we introduce our great guest for today's show.
Hello, this is Dr. Wanda Cousar with the New Cyber Frontier. Today we have a special guest, Miss Amber Williamson. She describes herself as a cybersecurity boomerang. She has shared she has been in computers all of her life and has evolved with technology. She is speaking to us from Atlanta, Georgia. Amber, welcome. Can you tell us about your background?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. My background is very organic from a standpoint that I always had that analytical mindset. So as growing up as a child, I've always been involved in the sciences, anything that pertained to chemicals, medical. I always got involved in STEM-related activities, performed at different science events in school, as well as attending programs at Georgia Tech as a child. And over the course of time, I wanted to go into medicine. So I attended Xavier University of Louisiana. I obtained a biology degree thinking that I was going into pre-med, and it did not work in my favor in spite of Hurricane Katrina. And so I went back to my former high school, talked to my mentor, and she said, how about you pick up computers, because this is the new era that we are leaning towards. So pick up a couple of courses and see what happens and bounce back. And I never looked back, and that was in 2005. But prior to that, I was always in the intricacies of computers. When you're looking at the direction, how we had homemade computers. And what I mean by homemade computers is you built a computer from the ground up. You built your own shell. You put in your own parts, and you start to learn the ins and outs of a computer. And then prior to that, you also had those antenna-based, cable-based keyboards that you just hook up to a television that was considered as your mom and pop computers. But again, I had those hand-me-down computers or built-in computers to the Ataris, to the Sega Genesis, to the Game Boys, to a regular Nintendo, and I evolved with the handheld devices like a Tiger electronic game. So I've always had some type of gadget. Even the times where I need to repair my own device, I was there doing it. And I think the first time I actually had that insight was in undergrad at Xavier, that first week of school. And we had to rely on the IT department to try to get us connected, and it didn't work out. So I said, well, let me just go into my settings. Let's just see what I can figure out. And I was able to get into it within 2 minutes and hooked up the dormitory. And I kind of forewarned them, saying that if they bust my case, they were going to get shut down. So I've been evolving in that field of computers for a while. And so after I graduated from Xavier with a degree in biology, I was able to go to DeVry University and picked up my second bachelor's degree in computer information systems. And I was able to evolve and obtain various internships. And my first exposure in the computer technology realm was learning about what a computer actually consists of, and then at the same time understanding what is needed for the certification, because you can have one thing but not have the other. And sometimes the education piece, just having a degree, you need to be able to back it up with the certification. And so after attending the DeVry, I was able to get the hands-on experience that I need from industry. And then After going to one particular graduate school that didn't work out in my favor, I went back to DeVry and ended up going to Keller and obtaining two master's degrees in information system management and network communication management with a focus in security as well as wireless communications. So
Hmm.
the technology has evolved, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
thankful for the mishaps. I'm thankful for the closed doors, and I'm thankful for the opportunities that showed up in my life. But at the same time, you have to stay abreast with the game. Technology is always changing. We live in a ideal world that we used to be so fixated on a computer, so fixated on a phone. Well, now
Mm-hmm.
you have that flexibility that you have a computer and a phone all in one. So you don't have to remain fixated. You can be mobile, you can be flexible, you can telecommute, you can do everything upon your hands. And I always
Wonderful.
use the
We
analogy that
we're
we
go-
live.
we're going to take a quick break for our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Hold that thought.
Cyber Resilience Institute helps build strong cyber communities designed to prevent members from attack. Like building a neighborhood watch, it takes coordination and a sharing community to protect our identities and valuables in the virtual world. Typically, we hear that organizations know they need to do something to protect their cyber assets, but don't know where to begin. Let Cyber Resilience Institute help your community create an action plan. Cyber Resilience Institute will build your community or business marketplace so that it is designed to support a collective cyber defense. Contact them for more information at cyberresilienceinstitute.org.
Dr. Wanda Cousar back with the new Cyber Frontier, and we are interviewing Miss Amber Williamson. And we were just talking about her background, and she was elaborating on how technology has changed and it has contributed to opening new doors for her throughout her career. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. And let's pick up where you left off. You were giving us quite a bit of information that is very valuable to our listening audience.
So what I was saying is that we live in a Jetson society. When we look at Hanna-Barbera and they created the cartoon strip, The Jetsons, you never thought that we have the flat screen or the robots or the treadmills or things of that nature. And when you look at technology as it evolved, we actually have the face-to-face communication that was already displayed from the Jetson. We already have the hybrids, cars and other devices that's around. We already have the mobile devices, and it just seemed like that we already stepping inside of the future that was 40, 50 years ago. We didn't think that we're going to be manifesting in that particular arena. So it's like you see the technology, you see the cybersecurity around. We just didn't know what it was, or better yet, we didn't know how to put a name or a label to what we are seeing in the near future.
Wow. Can you describe some of the benefits of serving your particular market niche that you're working with right now?
Well, for one, you definitely have to have the passion and the drive for this particular industry, and for all of the roles that I have been in place with. Innovation stands out the most because you always trying to refine yourself for that particular business need. And when you look at the corporate values of each organization, you kind of pick up the trend as for what they are looking for. And so one of the trends that they are looking for is innovation. How can we become innovative in this state of mind that we are not leaning towards the Internet of Things? You want everything upon the tip of your hand or your fingertips. How do we go beyond that state of mind in the next couple of years? If you're not passionate and if you don't have the drive and you're not being innovative and you're not being self-driven to learning the facets of technology, then you are going to be behind, and maybe this particular industry is not for you.
Wow. Okay. Can you discuss your particular short and or long range goals?
Short term is always continue to be a self learner, continue to gain the certifications. I'm actually in progress of obtaining the Certified Information System Security Professional exam known as the CISSP. You have to have the 5 years of experience, knowing 2 out of the 8 domains that are needed in order to be a proficient for that particular exam. So I've been preparing for this exam for a while.
Mm-hmm.
This is my second attempt, so hopefully this is the last attempt that I have to do for this certification. Um, as you pay attention to the industry and what global knowledge is actually saying as well, which ones are the top certifications in the eyes of cybersecurity,
Mm-hmm.
uh, definitely look at the vendors that are out there. Cisco is changing that certification, Juniper and Palo Alto changing that certification, as well as CompTIA. And then you look at other vendors like SANS, EC Council, whichever one that you feel that you can learn more about. I always say that I want to be a certified ethical hacker, and I have a little boy who I kind of mentor about, was his tutor, that he always used to say the American hacker, because I know how to fix things right then and there on the spot. So it's like, let me hack into a book and learn the knowledge that I need in order to become successful in this particular industry, because there's not a lot of women in the field of cybersecurity.
Wow. You speak of ethics, which leads to my next question. What are your sustainability goals in your business?
Sustainability goals, you have to be true to oneself. If you're not true and not actually having the integrity within the organization as well as within
Mm-hmm.
yourself, then you living in false pretense. A lot of times in this society, we are living in a facade that we see one thing, but we are shielded from what is known as the reality. People are always calling wolf when it's not really a wolf out there, or in the eyes of cybersecurity, we say false positives and false negatives. What you thinking is not there is really there, or what we thought was there, it really wasn't there. So you always had to
Mm.
be 1 or 2 steps ahead of the game in order to be more alert and vigilant in the eyes of cybersecurity. Um, if you're not prayed up, then you're not going to be successful.
Oh,
If you don't
wow.
have that, if you don't have the level of integrity in the eyes of CISSP, and we talk about the CIA triad of confidentiality, integrity, and availability. If you don't make yourself available and you don't have the integrity and you're not confident in what you're doing, or preventing things to have that confidentiality protected, then you're not in the right industry, and you're just going to make yourself a liability, because people are the most vulnerable ones that actually cause a lot of the ruckus. We have to put ourselves first as individuals, and if you don't protect your people, then you're liable for the vulnerability and the risk, and you're going to take the hit as well as the organization taking a hit.
Wow. You speak of self accountability. Can you elaborate a little bit more on the quality someone should have in this industry?
I am definitely thankful and grateful for a lot of accountability partners. There's one in particular that I stay home and true to throughout this season, and I won't reveal her name, but she know who she is. The thing about accountability is that you always want somebody to make sure that you fulfill certain things in an organization or within yourself in the eyes of cybersecurity. And when we look at it from a spiritual point of view, where it's an iron sharper iron, meaning you supposed to be able to refine somebody in the lines of going through something. If you don't have somebody to push you along the way and making sure that you're getting things done in a timely manner, then you won't be successful in this particular industry. And a lot of times in cybersecurity, everything relies on the accountability. You have to be self accountable for everything, because everything falls on you. One keystroke falls on you. Everything can be pulled up on an audit log and they can see exactly what you're doing. It's like Big Brother is watching, or a late artist say, all eyes on me. Yeah, all eyes are on you, because you are the one that doing the particular activities. And the beautiful thing about cybersecurity is that you can catch the person that's doing the crime. You can't say that you didn't do, because we already have the proof as for doing XYZ. These are the steps. Here are the remediation steps that you need to go ahead and take full course of action, because if you don't take the full course of action, then again, this particular profession is not aligned for you. I mean, think of it like law. You
Mm-hmm.
interrogate your witness, and they have to look at all the evidence until the judge actually come to the final decision. That's the same way with cybersecurity. You have to make sure you get all your facts together
Mm-hmm.
in order to determine what is needed and assess, because again, it falls back on you for the accountability piece,
Mm-hmm.
and that is definitely critical in this state of mind.
It sounds as if you have learned through the process, through your experiences about this accountability piece. Do you have any examples that you yourself have encountered and how you have recovered in experiencing the accountability piece?
The accountability piece will be certifications.
Okay.
In this field of the industry, when we look at job postings and they say you got to have X amount of years and they want this particular certification, that certification
Mm-hmm.
is like, okay, who is going to push me towards the next step in order to get that particular certification? And self preservation is definitely the law of the land. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't persevere in the eyes of the storm when trying to get a certification, then nobody is not hurting but yourself. And I think I used this particular example when I talked to a few of my former peers is that I took the road less traveled. And what I mean by taking the road less traveled is that I took the road less traveled to get the certifications to get what I need, and I had
Mm.
somebody to push me to get to where I need to be. And you remember from your upbringings that you didn't want to have that particular childhood of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and I didn't do this and I didn't do that, and being compared to and this, that, and the other, and it's not making you feel any. Uh,
And we're going to take another break for our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Hold that thought.
Murray Security Services are your cybersecurity experts with decades of experience providing professional training services for our clients in various industries. We offer professional training and certification in areas of cybersecurity, safety, health, and environmental services at our academy. Our in-person and online training provides a collaborative environment where students can interact directly with instructors through live chats or in private classrooms. Visit murraysecurityservices.com for more information.
Dr. Wanda Cousar with the new Cyber Frontier. We're continuing our interview with Miss Amber Williamson, and we were just speaking of the accountability that one should have, and she was presenting some preventative measures in the event someone encounters something that falls back on them, and she was talking about certifications. Amber Williamson, can you continue?
So, in the eyes of cybersecurity, and again, when you look at job postings and what is needed, you got to understand there's a supply demand on the need. And what I was saying before the interview break is that you hurting yourself and you don't progress, you're gonna regress in the eyes of this particular agile community, because every day something is always changing within a second in the eyes of technology. And so you have to make sure that you are a self-learner and continue to learn what is needed and the demands. If it's a CISSP or Security Plus, go get it. If it's AWS, go get it. If it's Cisco router and switch, go get it. Whatever is needed for that particular job role, you need to go get it.
Excellent. I'm glad you said that because in my role as a business professor, often, I encourage students. I say, yes, you have to get your degree, but if your career field requires certifications, you need to make a personal investment. I find a lot of people struggle with making a personal investment in themselves to get those required certifications. Can you speak on that?
Certification, in my opinion, does take a higher rank than education. There's nothing wrong with having a college education. However, when it comes towards your job, you definitely need to have that certification just to say that you are certified to doing this and the other because you are that subject matter expert. A lot of times we looked at where you have to get a college education in order to move up. But then when you look at the degree value of going to school, for a 4 year degree, the same amount of time that you're doing for a 4 year degree, or a +6 or +8 for a master's degree. You can put all your time and energy again a certification and still getting more money. And the thing about a brick and mortar institution versus a for profit or a technical school is that you're dealing with a specialized skill set. And unfortunately, brick and mortar institutions only teach you certain things in life, especially in the eyes of cybersecurity. There was no such thing as cybersecurity. The only thing that you had in computer science or computer information system, that you taught them the business aspect or you taught them how to code. Now they are changing their curriculum that you have to focus on something pertaining to cybersecurity, because we are living in the eyes of a social media mishap, that everything that you assume to be fake news is not really fake news or the reality that is out there. So you definitely have to keep yourself abreast as for what's being handled at the time. So if you're not certified or being proactive in certifications, or you just don't want to go to school, then we're going to have some problems, because they do it in the military that you got to get trained. And the military is one of the biggest arenas where they focus a lot of their time and focus on cybersecurity. So the money is there, the industry is needed. The supply and demand is definitely short when it comes towards having more females in the practice. And that is why brick and mortar institutions are trying to change their curriculum to incorporate more cybersecurity programs.
Can you tell us how academic institutions can appeal to what the industry is requiring for cybersecurity professionals?
We need to start taking this back from a high school stance. I currently volunteer with Microsoft Teals K, which is a philanthropy program with Microsoft that actually encourage industry people to get back to the public school system and teaching them computer science. And when you start teaching these kids like the little things of how your Facebook or Snapchat or Twitter or Instagram pages actually work, you learn the back ends of coding, how to do this, how to develop a game, how to develop an app. And that starts in public or private school institutions. You got to learn the very basics. And once you start learning the very basics, then you can actually talk about the brick and mortar institution as for look at the industry trends. Again, if you were to go to a technical school, you'll be able to learn how to get that particular certification. When you go to a traditional school, the only thing that they want to focus, even from a public school standpoint, is Microsoft. You're not going to learn a Cisco CCNA router and switch at a brick and mortar school. You're not going to learn Splunk or SolarWinds at a brick and mortar school. You're going to learn how to write a paper, how to think logic and design, and be able to get a degree and move on. You're not going to learn a lot of those hands-on experience unless you get a job or an internship so you can learn those skills. And not only that, be able to get some mentors along the line so they can actually teach you what you need in order to be successful in this industry.
Wow. Where do you propose that those who are interested in a career in cybersecurity and doing it the most effective way, as you pointed out, focusing on those certifications, where might you find these programs to get
A
people
lot of
going
these
the right direction?
programs, you can definitely find them on LinkedIn as well as Facebook. Quietly as it's kept, there are a lot of cybersecurity groups out there on Facebook and LinkedIn that you can definitely get involved with. Even if you try to research me on LinkedIn, uh, I have plenty of contacts as well as other group opportunities that can open up several doors as for what need to be taking place. Uh, I never thought the eyes of social media would be so prevalent now, because this is your own market space. You actually branding yourself. But once you open yourself up for other opportunities, you don't know who might know that particular person that can bring you on in. So I definitely would say utilize LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter beyond your leverage.
Wow, that's phenomenal. Are there now you mentioned LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. Would Snapchat be included in that group?
Sometimes, depending on the marketing strategy as for what's being utilized, I don't see it as a big, heavy thing,
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
but definitely Instagram.
Okay.
because if you follow some of the pictures are there, a lot of times people can point you in the right direction and say follow the Facebook group or follow this that, and the other.
Wow.
And I also learned that even mobile apps like Telegram and WhatsApp, they actually have some groups on there
Wow.
internationally that you can network with.
Thank you for mentioning WhatsApp. That's one I was turned on to several months back, and I am doing a lot of communicating internationally right now. So I'm glad that you, and for those of us who don't exactly know what WhatsApp is, can you kind of give a description?
WhatsApp and Telegram, respectfully, are two mobile devices apps that uses free communication. A lot of them have been paid through by sponsorship.
Mm-hmm.
Telegram is cloud based versus WhatsApp is more purchased on by Facebook. The only thing that you need is a phone number and somebody that's using that particular client application that you're able to communicate. The whole purpose of using those type of communications was to be able to reduce the cost to actually calling or texting that particular individual, because at first we be using Skype and then you using your own mobile calls and
Mm-hmm.
upcharging the fees, but now you
Mm-hmm.
utilizing the technology of Facebook and the Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp and Telegram, you have more flexibility as for who you can actually communicate with.
What message do you have? You in the beginning when you introduced yourself, you indicated that you were a cybersecurity boomerang and that you have evolved with the change in technology. And I'm finding, and I'm talking about some of my colleagues, kind of dig their heels in the sand and they're resisting evolving with the technology. What advice would you have for
You
them?
you definitely have to be resilient and be able to bounce back in adversity when it comes towards being resistant to change in this particular industry, because it is not only a want, it is a need.
Mm,
Technology is now on your refrigerator door, it's in your GPS of a car, it's utilized on your phones, your
mm.
tablets. It's a need, it's a want, and need is the supply and demand. The more that people demand that they have it, you have to produce that particular supply. And when you have a shortage, then what do? We fall into crisis that we got to have it at all times. So
Mhm.
that is why you have to push for more people to be more involved into the technology. And not only that, you want to push somebody to say you can be resistant to change, but at the same time, you have to go and do what is that is there because it's a necessity. I think the phrase is
Mhm.
"do as what the Romans do," and in
Mhm.
Rome, you do it. So, in the eyes of technology, you just have to go with the flow because it's a need. I mean, it's a critical necessity need in order to survive in this age. You cannot go back to what it was with pen and paper. You have to go with the flow in the eyes of technology. And if you are resistant to that, take a class.
There you go. How can someone looking to partner or collaborate with you get in contact? The best way.
The best method to reaching out to me is on LinkedIn. I can be found under Amber C. Williamson. Uh, that would be the best means of communication. I do have a particular website that is in progress, and once I have the
Okay.
information, I will share with you all at a later time. But I am very excited as for what is about to take place in regards to new opportunities, more mentorship in the eyes of cybersecurity, and we can definitely go from there.
Do you have any advice for those who are looking for internships, maybe entry level candidates for jobs, given your expertise in the industry and length of time?
At first, I was being proactive by myself as well as going to career counseling when I was in school. But the eyes of technology has evolved so much. So I would definitely say utilize LinkedIn and Indeed as much as
Mm.
possible. Start looking for contacts who are already in that particular role on Indeed as well as LinkedIn. Just finding the backgrounds and the intricacies, what's there, this, and the other. definitely go towards the main company websites and see if they have any internship opportunities that are there. Uh, the world is your oyster. That's what they say.
Mhm.
But for me, if there's an opportunity that's out there, you need to go get it
Mhm.
because it's there, and you just don't know when that opportunity might open up for you
Mhm.
because social media has changed so drastically, and being able to find roles and internships really open up the eyes for HR a lot more than what it was back then. So definitely utilize LinkedIn, Indeed, Career Builder, Monster as much as you can,
Mhm.
and network, network, network. You just never know what might open up for you.
Wow. Can you quickly address your opinion of joining professional organizations, and or if there are any that you found to be lucrative for yourself?
At first, I was heavily involved with National Society of Black Engineers and IEEE, as well as BDPA. I felt that at the time in 2007, those organizations were definitely beneficial. But of course, the industry has changed as well as those particular organizations has changed.
Mhm.
Uh, when the opportunity arises, I will get more heavily involved with BDPA,
Mhm.
IEEE. Definitely get involved with those groups. Any professional groups that's out there on LinkedIn are worthwhile.
Mhm.
Even professional organizations or the social organization belonging into a fraternity or sorority that might become beneficial, but at the same time sometimes those things that may seem beneficial may be detrimental to your career. So
Mm.
proceed with caution
Okay.
at all times with those particular organizations. I would definitely say that Google is your best friend. Research as much as you can. Make sure that Google is your best friend when you're going through the process. Trust the process at all time. And if you have any questions, definitely reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to open up that olive tree branch and extend the conversation.
Okay. And can you reiterate once again how they can get in contact with you?
You can definitely get in contact with me on LinkedIn. That is Amber C. Williamson. I am on LinkedIn. If anybody wants to email me, definitely is ambercwilliamson@yahoo.com, and I will respond back to you.
Miss Williamson, we certainly appreciate you and your expertise and your insight.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I look forward for another one.
We hope you have enjoyed this episode of New Cyber Frontier. Remember, please follow and participate as New Cyber Frontier is supporting a grassroots community effort to empower the individual in the digital age. Check it out at privacyforthepeople.org. Also, make sure to join our mailing list so we can keep you informed. If you have an idea, if you have a question you would like to hear answered, or if you just want to get involved with what we're doing, reach out to us at newcyberfrontier.com. We also encourage you to visit our sponsors links because they are the ones that really make this show possible. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode of New Cyber Frontier.